Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, to the world of Wayne. Big smile on my face. I'm always like this when it's new build day, and we're going to start the new build with pack 1 of the Agora Models release of Build the Leopard tank. Now, a few weeks ago I did do a quick introduction to what the Leopard tank's all about, so let me just show you a little bit about the tank. The Leopard 2 is a main battle tank developed in the 1970s for the West German Army. The tank first entered service in 1979. This is the 2A6 model. It's armed with a 120mm smoothbore cannon. The longer barrel of the gun allows ammunition to attain higher velocities. A total of 42 rounds are carried and 15 of them are ready to use, while the rest are stored in the front of the hull. Secondary armaments consist of two 7.62mm machine guns, and the tank holds a crew of 4, which are commander, gunner, loader and driver. They're currently in active service in Germany, Canada, Finland, Greece and Portugal. Now this is available for Agora Models, and once again I've put a link down the bottom there where you can get this for yourself. You can have it over 12 months or 24 months. If you've ordered products before from Agora Models, you can take advantage of the Agora Advantage Club, and you've also got the Agora Promise. All of the details for that are listed on the Agora Models website. And when you're over there, once again, some of the other items that you can build with Agora Models are the Terminator, the Super Snake, the Cobra, they're all over the place. The Bismarck, which is outside at the moment because it's far too big to store in here. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to add to that collection by doing the Leopard tank here. So let's show you what we get in pack 1. So this is the brochure that we get to build. As you can see, it's a 1/16 scale model. Now from the very rear of the tank all the way to the front of the turret there, 68.5 centimeters or 27 inches. It's 19.5 centimeters high or 7.5 inches. And then wide, it's 23.5 centimeters or 9 inches. Now I can't see offhand how much it weighs, but a lot of this is metal. You're going to see that in some of the parts that we do now. So it is going to be quite a heavy old thing here. Now remember, that's the Agora Advantage Club that I was just detailing earlier, and you'll see all of that on the site as well. But this opens up into an amazing poster. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put this yet, but can you believe that is what we're building? This is going to be brilliant. So I'll quickly go through the parts and then we'll talk about what we're actually doing. So part 1 is basically the turret, and we've got some metal parts here and screws. In part 2, as you can see here, we're building onto that. I do like how you've got this theme behind the card here, but these are all on card. Number 3, this is going to blow you away. Check this out. Look at that. That is one hell of a piece. It's ginormous and it's heavy. I'm guessing that is all metal, but I haven't opened it yet. So that's pack 3. Then we've got part 4. Again, some more of the armor here. And then we've got part 5. This is where we're going to start putting the smaller details in. Part 6, again, some more armor and some smaller details in there. Part 7, which looks just like that. And finally, in pack 1 we do get 8 parts, and this is part 8. Again, some more armor here. Wow, there's absolutely loads to do. So in World of Wayne tradition, as you can see, I couldn't get a camo shirt. This is the best I could do with a camo shirt, but you'll be pleased to know, look, I have got some nice camo trousers on. So I am dressed for the part today when we're building this, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so in stage 1 we're going to be doing the main gun barrel and the loader hatch. So let's get this unpacked. And before we continue, we definitely need to talk about these parts. This is heavy, as you can see. This is metal. Looks absolutely amazing. The other sections are here that making the hatch are plastic, but I just can't believe we've got a metal core through this whole turret here. Now with this build, you get packs of screws, and just like all the other builds that we do, as you can see, all the screws are labelled up. So we've got AP screws here in this one, we've got AM screws, and we've got BP screws. Now even though we do have all of these parts for this, we only need these 2 parts here and here. And all we're going to do is put this plastic part just over this section like that. And guess what? That's all there is to do in that stage. Then stage 2, we've got the rear of the main gun, and we've got the commander hatch. So we're going to open this now. lots of items here, so I'm going to put that to one side, and now we're going to get to work on the turret. Now, as you can see, on this end of the turret we've got a screw. In this pack we do get an extension for that, and quite simply we're just going to screw this together on here, so we have got one complete thing. So just so you know, at the moment that turret is basically around about 31.5 centimeters by the look of it, but that's looking like that. We can put that to one side, because now we're going to be working on the hatch. This is what that looks like, and what we're going to do is turn it upside down here, and in this part we get this clear section here which is going to go over the top of the lugs there, and it's going to fit nice and comfortably in there like that. Because it's on the lugs, it can actually hold itself in, no problems at all. We want to keep that all in one place, so we're going to be putting the top on it now. This is what the top looks like, and that's just going to fit over the top of these lugs here. So this is going to go in just like that. It's going to be held into place with 4 CP screws. So I've got that here. I've just zoomed up the top camera because now we're not working on the turret. It's a little bit more detailed work. We can zoom in a little bit better. I still can't believe the size of that turret. But 4 of these are going in. One here. And finally, just one the other side there. That's going to bond all of those sections together, so that now looks like that. Now we've got this clear section that we're actually going to be putting into these slots that you can see around here. So we want to line it up to where the slots are. So basically it's going to be going on this way and slots in just like that. Now once again, we are going to be securing this into place, but we don't need to screw it in. It just pushes over those points there. Nothing's actually getting this out. It fits in quite snug actually. We can put this to one side because we're going to be working on the hatch now. Now your hatch might come with the spring here over the top of it. We don't want that like that yet, so we want to make sure that's removed. Because what we're going to do is we're going to be taking this hatch, we're going to be putting it through the hole that we can see on this side here, just like that, and then feeding it through both sides there, so that fits perfectly flush in there like that. That's what it should look like from this side. Then we're going to be putting the spring over the top, and that's all going to be held in place with a flange screw, which is a DP screw. So I've got that here, and this is where you have got the chance to have this spring ping off in all directions. But we'll get that screw in. With this, it's best to start really slow, just so it can start cutting the thread in there. And then when you've got it, just screw that all the way in. And when that's all the way in, it should look like that. The spring can't go up now, that's holding that in place. So it's actually giving some tension to that now. So when we push this up, as you can see, it wants to spring itself back down again, like that. But that is all there is to do in that stage. Now stage 3, look at the size of it. Let's get this out and have a look at this. I don't think there's going to be too much to do in this, but I could be wrong, because this is just one whole massive piece of metal. And we really got to take some time out to look at that. Look at that with the decals on it already. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you on this camera. Check that out. Absolutely amazing. Love it. We are going to be doing something. We're actually going to be turning this upside down, because we are going to be mounting what we just created of the hatch here onto the other side of this vehicle. So quite simply, it's going to go into this section here. So the spring is going to be coming out of this side, just like that. And then we should be able to see all the other holes mounted in here like that. So it fits pretty flush in there. Now we do need to hold that into place. It's held in by the holes that we've got around the side here, and they're all CP screws. Now even though it looks like obviously we're going into metal, we're not, because the part that's actually this is screwing into is plastic, and that's why you've got CP rather than a letter that ends in M. Put this side on, make sure they're nice and tight. Number 3. And here we go. This is the last one here, number 4. Now we've got another hatch to put in, which looks like that. We've got two sides of this. It's this side that we want to be up, because this is going to go into this section just here. Now to put this in, it's going to go underneath here, and we're going to be screwing it in through the hole that we can just see at the top there. So I'm going to line that hole up there, and that's going to be held in with an AP screw. So we're only 3 stages into this, and we've already got 2 hatches on the vehicle. That's just crazy. But there we go, that's in. And now look, that's what that looks like from the other side there. That opens up like that. And then obviously this one, when it opens, it'll open just like that. And the spring system on it will just bring it back down, like you can see there. Now we have got the grille, or the protection plate, that's going to go over the top of this section here. Now the open end of this is actually going to go towards the back here. So when I'm lining up these screw holes, I'm going to be putting it in that position like that. So as you can see, this open end is like that there. Turn it upside down, and we're going to secure this into place with BP screws. This one's going to take 3 of these. That's the first one. That's the second. And that's the third. So now that looks like that. That's really good. Look at that. And then finally, the part that we just made in the first pack is just going to go through this hole here, just like this, slide it all the way through. It does take a little bit of pushing to get that in there, but that should sit in just like that. So we have got a window in there like that. That's going to be held in with AM screws. We're actually going into metal now. So I will put this in a little bit of oil for that reason, and we'll get these in. That's the first one, and finally a bit of oil. That's the second one. And that, with all that completed, is all there is to do in that stage. That's what it looks like from that side, and that's what it looks like from that side. So stage 4, we've got the front left section of the turret, and then we've also got the start of the tracks. So as you can see, all the tracks are in there. We can just put that to one side for the moment. Now this section is in plastic, but again, following the technique and camouflage pattern that we've got on the die cast top, we're going to attach this to that. So once again, I'm going to bring it over. It's not too hard to see where it goes. It's going to follow the shape here that we've got in there. So this is going to go on just like that. Turn it upside down. And it's going to be held in by 5 EP screws, which I've got here. So that's one. I'm putting my finger underneath just to provide some support for these when I screw it in. That's number 2. Number 3 over here. Number 4 in the middle. And then finally, number 5 just at the back here. So now that, probably best on the side camera there, looks like that. Again, we can put that to one side because we are going to start working on the tracks. Now, as you can imagine, the tracks take up quite a lot of area on the tank. So whatever we do now, we're probably going to have to mirror quite a few times through this build. Now here's one of the tracks, and that's what it looks like. This is all metal, just so you know. It's quite heavy as well. What we're going to be doing is putting a linkage in first. So this is what the linkage looks like here. So keeping it on a flat surface, this will be going in like that there. Now on this track, this side's slightly slanted and this side's flat. When I put this side in, we want to make sure it's exactly the same. So it's going to be this way round. So I want to make sure they're all exactly the same way round. And you can get some help with that because these tracks do have little dots just on here to ensure that they are all the way around there. And then we've got these pins here which are going to hold all of those into place. Now when we put this pin in, we want to make sure that it's this way round, looking like that, so that the flat edge here is pointing to the parts that are upright in there, and they just simply just go in the end like this. We need to line up that pin in the center there, which I think I've just done first time. I can't believe I've done that, till it comes out the other side. And then the same shaped little tab there is going to go on the other end to keep that in. So I will just push that in and show you what that looks like. And when that's in, that should look just like that. Wow. So we've done 2 tracks. We're going to be doing a third one now. So once again, just show you that again. We're going to take an oval little tab that's going to go in the middle there. We're going to offer up one of these tracks. And again, line up the dots. That way you'll know you got it around the right way. And then push all of that together. So that's one in and the other one. We'll get another pin out here, and once again make sure we have the pin exactly the same way around as the one before it, and we put this one in as well. Now I'm not going to lie to you, you are going to need patience. Lots and lots of patience when you do this, but you do need to make sure they are all round exactly the same way. So once again we're going to put a cap on this side here. Now this is metal, so it might help to have a little sort of like tack hammer just to knock that in with. And there we go. That's 3 in, looking like that. That's probably the hardest thing we've had to do so far, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now they do want us to put another one in just here, following exactly the same thing that we've done earlier on, but that is pretty much all there is to do in that stage. Keep these other parts spare because we are going to need them later on. So stage 5, we've got the turret front left side. So I'll get all of these parts out. And it is worth noticing before we start, we do have a screw that's already been put in there for us. You don't need to take that out. What we do need is this bracket here that looks like that. We're going to be putting this into place just on this side. So this is going to go in this way. Just check the fit first, because there are 2 pieces that look identical to this. But that looks good, and we're going to be holding that in with FP screws. So one on this side, and then just one on the other side here. Make sure that's nice and tight. Turning it upside down, we've got this bracket to put on now. This bracket needs to be on this way, just so you know this bracket is metal, and it's just going to fit over the top of these sections here. It's going to be held in with BP screws. So we've got 2 of them to put in. That's the first one. And there's the second one. And that's nice and tight. We could put that to one side because we're going to be working on this detail now. And in the same way we just did the last one, we're going to be putting another rail just on the top here. Again, just checking the fit to see what the best fit is. It has got a little notch to help you when we put these in, so it fits nice and flat in there. So it goes around that way there. Once again, held in with FP screws. And there we go. That's the second rail in there. And then quite simply, we're going to be attaching this section to this section here. So this is just going to go over the top like this. It's going to fit in between the bracket that we've got here. And then we've got these little hinges just to put on to keep that into place. And the hinges go on kind of like, oops, get it the right way around, kind of like that there with the flat sides up. They are going to be held in with GP screws. These are quite tiny ones. So that's one side in. Do the same on the other side. One there. And finally, just one at the bottom here. And there we go. That's now on a hinge joint, as you can see. That moves absolutely fine. So this pointed section now, bringing over the die cast top again, we're just going to be pushing these lugs or these holes here through the holes that we can see here. They're going to be quite a tight fit, so it's going to take a little bit of effort, but we need to push these all in completely. Like that, so it's fitting perfectly flush all the way around. All you have to do then is take some BP screws, and there's 2 screw holes just in the side here to apply that into position. The sides, as you can see, can now open and close, but that is all there is to do in that stage. Now stage 6, we've got the turret right front section, and we've also got some more tracks. I've just seen a gun there. That looks cool. So just like last time, we're going to take this section here and we're going to be putting this on the tank in the position that it goes. Just like last time, as you can see, it's just going to match that whole cutout there. So this is going to fit on like that. Turn it over. We're going to hold this in with EP screws. And once again, it's going to take 5 of these. So that's 1. One over this side. Did you see the calm before the storm there, where we had issue 1 or pack 1, stage 1, we had just that one thing to do? And now look, each stage is going on for ages while we put all of this together. That lulled you into a false sense of security, didn't it? 2 more screws. And this is the last one just on this side. So now that is looking like that there. Now we've got another shield that's going to go over the top just into this section here. And this is just basically a push-in. We do have little tabs in here, a little bit like how we did the Bismarck. So we're just going to put 2 in and then push the side of the 3rd one in. And you should hear it click in just like that. So when you look underneath, you can see all of those tabs are fitted into place. But that should look like that. And then we can put that to one side just for the minute, because we're going to be working on another track. So this is where we got to last time, making sure it's the right way round, so the dot is facing up on this. Then we're going to put this exactly the same way round as all the other tracks are on here as well. Make sure that's bonded together. Take a pin and make sure it's the same way round as all the other ones there. That's going to go in from this side and slide it all the way through. So there we go, that's that pin in. And then once again, we're going to take one of these sides here, making sure it's the same way round as all the other ones that we've put in. Line this up and then just use a small tack hammer just to hammer that home. As you saw, I used my duckbill pliers. But there we go, that's 4. And we're just going to repeat the process with the other 2. Now what I did notice is they only want us to make him in batches of 3 on each one. As you can see, I haven't done that. So what I will do is I'll link all of these together, but you do only want to make them in batches of 3. But they are looking pretty good at the moment. I'll just finish this off then. So that's what they look like when they're linked together, but don't do that yet. Don't follow me. But I'm guessing we're going to have to do this to the whole lot anyway. Again, making sure that every single one of these is exactly the same way around. So all the dots are in the same place and all of these along the sides are the same way around as well. But that's all there is to do in that stage. So we're going to do the turret front right section now in a similar way to what we did with the left section. As a matter of fact, it's going to be exactly the same way. So once again, we're going to be putting one of these in, just making sure that I've got the correct one. And so they have got little notches in that's going to help you line up what one goes where. That one goes in like that. That's held in with an FP screw. That's 1. And number 2, make sure that's tight. And then once again, we're going to be putting the hinge in, making sure we put this in the right way round. It's going to go this way round, just over the top of these parts like this here. That's going to be held in with BP screws. That's the first one. And this is the second one. So once that's in, we'll put that to one side because we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did to this one. Again, lining these up so we know which ones are going in there. So that one goes in like that. Again, held in with FP screws. Definitely with these rails, definitely make sure you're putting the right side in, because it's very subtle where the notches are. The notches are just off center on one and directly centered on the other. So, but there we go. That one's in like that. And then we're going to be putting this section over this section here like that, putting it in once again with these brackets here. And we're going to be putting that in with CP screws. Did I say CP? I meant GP. These are tiny ones, these are. So I'll put the first one in. Just like that. Do the second one. The thicker end of this hinge here should be pointing towards the middle. We've got one for the other side here. That's going to go on there. Number one. And number two. So once again, just to check, we have got the hinge motion in that. That works perfectly. Bring over the top of the tank again, and just like we did last time, this is basically a push to fit into this section here. Don't be afraid to give it some force. So 1, 2, you're going to hear all sorts of creaks when you do this, and 3. You want it to be fitting perfectly flush in there. And then just like the other side, we're going to be putting 2 BP screws just to hold these sides completely in. Just like that. So now we've got 2 sides, which you can see open up like that. Pretty cool. But that is all there is to do in that stage. And in the last stage, we're just going to work on the rear section of the turret and more tracks. As I said, I'd be surprised if we don't have a load of tracks to do in each section. So I'll put those tracks to one side, because what we're going to do, take the rear section, put it over the main section we've been working on here. That's going to be held in with BM screws. Got them here. These are quite thick, chunky ones, the BMs are, I have to say. I'm going to drop them in a little bit of oil there. That's the first one. Nice and tight. Here's the second. And then finally, here's the third. There we go. And now that looks just like that. Look at that. Just for size, just so you know, you're looking at 30, almost 40 centimeters, just that section there. Now we do have a machine gun here, which they haven't asked us to mount yet. So now I'm going to keep that to one side, because what we're going to do now, even though I put all the tracks together last time, is we're going to build 3 sections of track just on their own. So looking at the parts, I don't know if the parts from the other issues are spares, but I am going to keep them together. And obviously we just need to match exactly what we've done there. So in similar tone, I'm going to put one of these in the middle, offer up one of these next to it, making sure it's exactly the right way round, making sure the pin and the end is flat side up towards these parts here. Feed it through here. 1 and 2. This bit's the hardest bit, I have to say. Just getting it not so much into the ends of the tracks, but getting it through the pin at the end there. See, I've got it through 1. Very rarely do I manage to do this first time, I have to say. Let's lie it down again. Take your time. Because if you're anything like me and you don't have any patience with this, then you are going to have a long time with this. There we go. So that's all the way through. And then once again, we're going to tack. I need to get my little tack hammer. And perhaps when you tack it, if you don't, I mean, I'm not really marking the sides of these at all anyway, but you might want to just put a little bit of cloth over the top as you're whacking it in. Me, on the other hand, I want this to be well worn. I don't want it to be, you know, squeaky clean. It's a tank after all, people. It needs to have lots of grime and marks in it. So there we go, that's that one in. And once again, I'll do the one next to it. And there we go. That's those 3 done. We do have spares, but eventually, obviously this is going to go in there and we're going to be linking them up. So we've got a complete full metal chain going through the whole thing. But that is all there is to do in that stage, and that's all there is to do in that pack. And if I just bring over everything we've done, so we've done the track there, we've done this massive turret there, and then obviously we've got the machine gun, which we haven't put on yet, and this massive top here. But that's everything you get in pack 1, and I'm sure you'll agree, that is amazing. It's all about the tracks on this one, I'm telling you. The tracks are absolutely amazing, and just the weight of this here, it feels brilliant. Trouble is that threading them is going to be a pain. But I'm sure I was getting quicker at the end. The more we do it, the better it's going to be and the easier we're going to find it. But I'm sure you'll agree that that's an absolutely brilliant build. I'm just looking at all the parts that we've got here. And that's just pack 1. Once again, if you want to get this for yourself, put the link down here for Agora Models. You can get this all the way and start where I'm starting here. And by the end of it, we're going to have a finished remote control tank, which is going to be, just blows my mind. Anyway, listen, I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.